Yo, what's going on, guys? Before we start this video, I want to give a disclaimer that I am in Medellin, Colombia. And if you guys have ever visited Medellin, there are a ton of people and dogs all throughout the street. So if you hear some background noise during this video, I apologize in advance. With that out the way, welcome back to my channel, guys. If you all don't know me, my name is Worldwide Wes, and I've actually had the opportunity to work remotely in 6 countries. In this video, I want to talk to you guys about how I was able to negotiate with my job to let me go abroad, and some steps you can take if you're looking to go abroad, if you want to talk with your company about going abroad, or if you just want to learn about the possibilities of remote work. Now, if you're in a job search and you're actually looking for the company, the most important thing I could say is you're interviewing the company too. If you know you want to work remotely, this company needs to have a remote culture. They need to be familiar with people traveling different places, whether it be domestically or internationally, and working from different areas, and it's not weird and it's just a normal day-to-day life. So even if the position is remote, if they have 10% of their company remote or 20% of their company remote, maybe there's a little bit of a remote culture, but it's different when the whole company is remote. Every employee is used to going online and have that be their workplace for the day. So I would definitely say, try and find a company with some remote culture. In addition to you interviewing the company, you want to do a deep search into how their work-life balance is. I feel like this is something that gets overlooked a lot of time with companies, especially because we are remote, but you don't want somebody that's bothering you because you didn't respond to a Slack message 10 minutes after they sent it. Or you don't want somebody getting jealous of you because you're living in Mexico and they're living in Minnesota. Things like this are important when you talk about work-life balance. You want to make sure that this company gives their employees enough time to enjoy life. I also want to note that I am going to do a video that shows some entry-level remote jobs that you guys can get into and get started. I had a lot of interest on my last video, and I want to make sure that I share every resource that I can so I can help you guys out. So once you've gone through the interview process with this company and you've gotten your first remote job, in all honesty, the next thing you should do is go into straight grind mode. Whatever responsibilities you have for the first 90 days, you should be an all-star, you should be top ranking. Even if they don't rank you guys, you need to be a top performer in whatever profession you're in. And this is because you're gonna want leverage later on, and you want to establish initially with everybody that you work with and your manager that, hey, I am a reliable person, I'm gonna show up on time, I'm gonna create quality work, and I'm not a person that you really have to think or worry about when working remotely. I've noticed this goes a really long way with managers, and actually I've never had a manager say no or even hesitate when I'm asked, because usually there's a set precedent within that company, that online office, whatever. Wesley gets his shit done. I do not play around, I don't show up late. I might stay late some days, but I don't show up late, and I'm very engaged when I work. Now, the next thing I would do after my 90 days, and I have a set reputation within that office of being a great employee, being on time, delivering great quality work, I would just start asking my coworkers, maybe the ones that I trust, maybe not even trust, maybe the ones that I just like and I see that are cool people. I'll sit down and ask them, hey, has anybody ever gone to insert location for a week? Going to Tulum, Mexico for a week and worked? How was that? In my previous role, that's actually how I found out that a large portion of our company was traveling abroad. I was talking with one of my coworkers and I was asking, has somebody done a week in Europe or something while working? And then I found out, wow, we actually have like a couple people in Europe. There's some people in South America. There's some people in Africa. And I was like, oh, all right, you guys are my type of company. And that goes back to what I said at the beginning, what kind of culture is the company? In a remote first culture, sometimes things like working from Mexico, working from Colombia, working from Indonesia, that might not seem as weird. Now, after you've gone and talked to a few coworkers, gotten some more information about the company culture and how they feel towards certain types of remote work, based off of what you're hearing, you should have an understanding of how it will go or how the company would respond to you asking to go abroad and work. So the next thing I would suggest is to set up a one-on-one with your manager. And in that one-on-one, as I mentioned earlier, when you come in, you need to come in as the playmaker, right? You need to come in as an asset to this company. because that is the most important thing with this. The company is undertaking a liability by letting you go abroad. And for that liability, they need to have some form of value, and that value is the work that you bring, the product that you bring to that company. With all that being said, if you have the work ethic that matches and you have talked to a few people around the company and it seems like it's something that's feasible, definitely in your next one-on-one, bring this up and say, hey, insert name. I've been here a while now, and I know I've performed well. I'm actually planning on going to insert country, and I just wanted to run it by you before and make sure there was no issues with me working remotely from there. No meetings need to be arranged, nothing needs to be changed, but I just wanted to run it by you before I take that jump and go on and leave. You don't want to tell them too much about where you're planning on going, how long you're gonna stay, what you're gonna do, how great your life is gonna be, for a couple reasons. The first is people don't really need to know any of that stuff. They need to know, how's your internet, can you work? If you can answer those two questions, and again, you are a top performer, I don't think you'll have any issues. The times where I've told my manager that I want to live abroad or work abroad for a specific amount of time, it's taken maybe less than 3 minutes, 4 minutes, and this is for the entire conversation. So this isn't a long, drawn out process for me personally. It's just letting them know, hearing the questions and concerns that they have back, and then giving out appropriate answers to those. Depending on the personality of your manager, maybe they haven't traveled as much, and maybe they haven't seen the place that you're looking to go to. I would have a few facts that are ready and that can make them feel a little bit better. For example, if I wanted to tell my job that I want to spend a month or two in Medellin, Colombia, I will highlight the fact that it's a digital nomad destination, that they have a ton of co-working spots, and that it is widely known and visited by many remote workers every single year. Hopefully by now you've received the okay to go and pursue and travel wherever you want to go while working remotely. Guys, it is a game changer. I was telling my dad when I was in Atlanta, I feel like I've actually been on vacation, like a workcation of some sort, for a couple years now. I started working remotely back in 2020, and I left to go to Mexico in June of 2020. And since I left, of course I work every day. Of course I hustle. Of course I don't play around with my money, but life is more fun. It is more interesting. And I hope you guys will get the opportunity to work and travel abroad as well at the same time. Now, I do want to throw in an alternative. Just in case you talk to your coworkers, you talk to people in the company, you see that the company culture isn't suited for people really traveling and working like that, or you're just a little bit nervous that they'll tell you no and it's just not worth it to you or something like that. So if that is your situation, I'm not telling you to do this, but I have definitely not told companies in the past that I am in insert country. Legally, from what I understand, you cannot be there for 180 days consecutively. After that, there is a tax penalty. I've never had an issue when I decide not to tell a company. And to be honest with you, it's actually a lot better because people aren't really prying into your personal life. They want to know how this country is on the weekend. What are you doing with your life? So in some cases, it's actually been better that I haven't told the company that I am abroad. So I would say if you have that situation, what you want to do is get a VPN. That is called a virtual private network. There's a few that you can go with. BetterNet is one. ExpressVPN is another. Also, StarVPN is really popular too. And with your VPN, you can set up what's called a virtual private network, and you can set it to a certain location. So if you want to set it to be in Atlanta and you're in Tulum, that's your prerogative. But you can basically be in incognito mode and appear as if you're in one place, even though you're not. The last thing I would suggest, whether you tell your company or not, is to get a Zoom background and make that Zoom background your Zoom background the whole time you're with the company. My previous company knew that I traveled. They knew I was in Peru. They knew I was in Argentina. They knew I was in all these places. But it got very annoying in every meeting having to talk about my life or what I'm doing or what I ate last night. People want to hear about your life abroad because it's interesting and that's cool. But I am the personality where when I'm at work, I want to work. I don't want to talk about your kids. I don't want to talk about your softball game you did on the weekend. I want to get the work done. Maybe that's not a big deal for you, but if it is and you want to have a little bit of privacy, definitely set up a Zoom background. Make that Zoom background your background the entire time, and people will actually forget that it's a fake background. Guys, I hope you all enjoyed this video and got some things out of it. If you guys want to see more content on jobs in tech, if you guys want to have more content on remote workers, on traveling abroad, anything of that sort, talk to me below in the comments. I always appreciate it. And until next time, I'll see you soon. Peace.